I have a source who was there. Fact. Listen to me. Fact. There on the trip, in the decision-making chain, on the France trip. You know why the president didn't go to that cemetery? Fact. Let me give you a little bit of background here. I didn't talk about this on Friday because the Bongino rule applied. Whenever you read an anti-Trump story, I'm not going to get on the bandwagon and talk about it until I get the deets myself. The details of the story on Friday, the narrative that suspiciously emerged about the military, shocker. Trump does well with the military. How do we break that back? Was that on a trip a couple of years ago to France with President Trump, there were two cemeteries that are the resting sites of some of our military dead, that he visited one, he was supposed to go to the other one, and he didn't want to go because he just didn't want to do it, basically because Trump hates the military, was the narrative. Ladies and gentlemen, I say this. I'm stumbling here because I want to be careful here. I don't want to frame this as a, hey, look, I know people. Look how special. Because I don't. I stay in my house. I do my show out of my house. I'm not that guy, right? But I can tell you this. I know the president pretty well. Hence my stumbling here because I know that sounds like one of those things. Look at me, I'm special. I'm not. No more special than any of you. But I've had the privilege of working for 3 presidents, regardless if they're my political associates or affiliated with ideas. I don't care. They were presidents of the United States. I was proud to work for all 3 of them. Not endorsing their behavior. I'm simply suggesting it's a constitutional republic. I know the president pretty damn well. I spent a lot of time with him. I'm telling you right now, looking into this camera, you are being absolutely lied to by a bunch of buffoons creating a fake narrative using sophisticated disinformation techniques to make you believe something that is absolutely categorically false. I have never in my life heard the President of the United States say anything other than about the military and law enforcement specifically, how much he adores them to the point of he almost worships what they do. Do you really believe a guy like me, my uncle was killed in combat in Vietnam, got the Bronze Star with a V device for valor. I never met him. I talk about him all the time on Memorial Day, even on Veterans Day. I talk about him all the time. How my family was never the same. Greg Ambrose. My family was pre-Greg and post-Greg. My grandmother, God rest her soul, Eileen Sadler, was never the same. Everyone in my family knows it. She never, ever, Greg died in combat in Vietnam. The day he was supposed to come home in the bar we owned, Gibby's Bar at 64th Place and Myrtle Avenue. We owned it for decades. They had the welcome home signs up. 2 military men showed up. Neither one was Greg. You think if this president thought the military were suckers and losers, I would tell this guy to go blank himself in 2 minutes flat. I don't care who he is. Do you really believe that? You know me on this show. You know I call it straight. I always have. You believe for a moment that if this president thought our military were suckers and losers, that I would even give this guy the time of day? Oh, I'd give him the time of day. It wouldn't be the time he wanted. I have never, ever heard this president say anything. Not only the president, his family, his daughters-in-law, the people around him speak with absolute reverence about our military, our police officers, our corrections officers, our EMTs, our firemen, our first responders. I have seen and heard stories from people I know on the ground that working motorcades with him sometimes is dangerous because if he sees firemen or cops, he has to stop the motorcade and get out and say hello. Same with our military folks. You're telling me you heard a rumor, a narrative, convenient one? Like, where did that come from? That the president thinks the military are suckers and you're dumb enough to believe this and promote this? Now you know why I waited on this? So, Jennifer Griffin from Fox News has a source who supposedly confirmed this story that the president didn't want to go to the cemetery. There's the tweet at Jennifer Griffin from Fox. Hey, listen, I'm not challenging. If Jennifer heard this from someone, she heard it. That's fine. I'm telling you this story's fake. Quote, Jennifer Griffin from her Twitter. When asked if the president could have driven to the cemetery, this former official said confidently, the president drives a lot. The other world leaders drove to the cemeteries. He just didn't want to go. Ladies and gentlemen, that is fake. I'm not suggesting, again, the source didn't tell Jennifer Griffin that. Oh, I'm sure the anonymous source did. That story is, in fact, fake. I have a source who was there. Fact. Listen to me. Fact. There. On the trip. In the decision-making chain. On the France trip. You know why the president didn't go to that cemetery? Fact. It was a 90-minute drive. Well, he doesn't drive 90 minutes? Rarely. It wasn't supposed to be a drive. It was supposed to be a lift. The helicopters. Because of weather and the low ceiling, they couldn't fly the helos. Having been the whip in the transportation section for the Secret Service, having been a transportation agent, and having done an actual motorcade in France. Remember that one, Paula? Were you on that trip with me? Yes, you were. Was I there? Just to confirm for the audience. I was. You were too, right? So maybe I'm kind of a good source on this. Worked in France, done motorcades in France, was the whip that's a semi-supervisory position in the Secret Service, having still maintaining staff and contacts from my prior line of work, let's say. You think I'm a little credible on this? Maybe. It was 100% a bad weather call. They did not have the assets last minute to secure a 90-minute motorcade in the pouring rain. The president wanted to go. The exact opposite of what that source told Jennifer Griffin. That story is fake. 100% fake. I don't care who's telling you it's confirmed. Yeah, it's confirmed as fake. My guys were there. That is not what happened. The president wanted to go to the cemetery. It was a 100% a bad weather call. That story is, in fact, fake. Here's what else is fake. Let's go to screenshot 2 from this Breitbart piece, again in the show notes. Show notes today are the best we've ever been. You got to read them. Griffin also said she confirmed that Trump had asked why veterans served. Quote, what's in it for them? They don't make any money. Wow, that sounds damaging. Hold on a sec. This goes on. That reflected a similar claim by the original author in The Atlantic, who doesn't even deserve to be named, about a remark Trump was alleged to have made at Arlington National Cemetery. Though without context, it's impossible to know whether Trump was praising them for volunteering regardless of personal or financial gain, rather than, as The Atlantic and Griffin presume, mocking them for doing so. So again, the claim here. Now, I just to move on. The first claim is that he didn't want to go to the cemetery because he just doesn't like the troops. I'm telling you with certainty that story is fake. It was a weather call, period. It's fake. It's made up. Second story. President Trump is mocking the military because they don't make any money and they died. This is imbecilic. To the umpteenth thousandth degree. Paula was there too. We've been around the president quite a bit. That is not, if that is even a quote, which I would question strongly, but even if that's a quote, if you know the president, believe me, I am not covering anything. I know exactly what the president was saying. What the president is implying is that what I've said on this show, have I not, Joe, 1,000 times, that nobody's getting rich in the military or police officers, and they do it anyway.
Right.
Have I not said that on this show 1,000 times about cops? What do you think they're showing up for the money? They're showing up because they give a about this country. And they're willing to give their lives. That's what Trump is saying. If anyone who's talked to him and knows Trump, he said that 1,000 times. That these guys aren't doing it for the money. But of course, if you want to build a narrative like Stanley McChrystal's military disinformation op organization wants to, you turn the quote around to mean, look at these suckers and losers who died for no money, as if it's all about money. It's the exact opposite. Anyone who knows Donald Trump and has spoken to him for 5 minutes knows he's said that 1,000 times, that these are the ultimate patriots because they don't do it for the money. That's clearly what he means. Now, you may say, Dan, why are you bringing this up? Why are you giving this story sales? It's already dead, which it is. Because, folks, the coming coup is coming. This is not the end of it. This story about Trump thinks the military are losers. This utter absurdity is the iceberg tip underwater. You know how much is going to come out in the next 3 to 4 weeks? All fake. Trump hates the military. Trump hates cops. Trump hates veterans. Trump hates old people, children, puppies. It's all coming out. You need to be ready. And I bring this story up and I debunk it because you need to be ready to see credible sources like my people who were there on the trip to tell you so you're ready to combat this disinformation with information.
You just heard Dan Bongino.